Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter, the Spodcast, sports podcast where we talk about sports. Welcome Trent, and welcome to our guest this evening, or morning, whenever you're listening, to Big Papa Bake. He's back. He's replacing Trey this week. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, hey, short and sweet there. Hello. There he is.
I'm not a man of many words.
Oh, those are two things that never go together. Nope. You and few words.
That's very true. Good point.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Hey, we're gonna jump right into everyone's favorite sport, the NFL. Trent, you want to get us going here?
Yeah. So we are now what? We're 6 weeks into the NFL, correct?
Yes.
I base that on the fact that my Raiders are 3-3 and yet have a bye. So yes, we're 6 weeks in. Crazy how fast the season goes, right? Like it takes forever to get here, and then once it's here, then you're like, oh shit, it's wild card weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
But I guess the thing that I am observing, which typically this kind of fades away, I would say after like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But I just get the sense that NFL football right now is poor quality football.
You know why that is, though.
No preseason is. I mean, that's usually the case. Is people don't play in the preseason, then it's just terrible and sloppy. But it's pretty friggin' bad right now. I mean, let me just rattle a statistic off for you guys.
Like, is this one that's nice and sloppy for you?
Yes, of course, always. Over half of the league, over half the NFL right now is averaging less than 21 points a game.
I can see that.
I'm going to speak on behalf of just my team that I follow the most, the Raiders, obviously, in saying that they are 3-3, and last week, thanks to a safety, they hit their season high in points scored in a game at 21 points. And you have the offensive guru of McDaniels. I say guru in air quotes. So I don't know. I mean, maybe, I made the comment last week that, defenses this year, I feel just lose games for teams.
Yeah.
But maybe their defenses are really good, or maybe it's just really ugly football right now, and points are not being scored. So
I also think part of that too is the fact that there are so many damn injuries to some star players on a lot of these teams. And, does that go back to not preseason stuff? I don't know, maybe. I really don't have an answer to that, but I do think that there's a shitload of injuries all over the place. Some severe, some, hey, I'm out for the rest of this game. I come back maybe in a week or so. But I do feel like there's a lot of injuries, and I think that you're seeing a lot of guys kind of get, reps and time that probably don't get a shitload of reps and time at practice. So therefore, equating into some sloppy football. So what do you think, Dad?
What I think is the NFL extended the season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And in the NBA, you have the little thing where, hey, I'm going to rest my stars. So now when a guy gets slated up, they're like, oh, you know what? We got 18 games. Let's just take it easy with him. Let's just protect him a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let him sit out a game or two. It's early in the season. We got time.
Yeah.
So what happens is they're letting guys sit for periods of time because, hey, we got 18-game season.
Yeah.
So let's just play this thing out. And that's unfortunate because in the past, the players played with pride, and they stood there and they went, I'm not saying some of the players don't play with pride, but what I am saying is some guys are like, hey, my next contract, I got to be healthy. I got to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not putting anything on the line.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's less about team. It's more about how much money am I going to make and how fast can I make it and when. Therefore, listen, I'm going to save myself for this, or I'm going to sit out for this, and I'm going to, not even necessarily sit out, but maybe even sit in where I'm still in facilities, but not making money because guess what? It's a lot of stipulation stuff. I agree though, Trent. Sloppy football is a good way to put it. I think it's injuries. I think it's maybe the season is too long. I mean, maybe 18 games, it is a long ass season. I mean, we talk about baseball being a long ass season. We talk about basketball being a long season. 18 games in a football season. I mean, with the amount of, physical activity that you put yourself week in and week out, I mean, that's a lot of games. Maybe you shave, I don't know, maybe you go 13 game season. Maybe you go 14 game season, and kind of shorten it down, make it a little bit more, I don't know, meaty, if you will.
The revenue people will never accept that.
No, I know, and that's
pushing to extend the season.
Right, absolutely.
I was gonna make that same comment. It's the whole extension of pushing another week. Even pushing a playoff. Wild card weekend now has a Monday night game, which we've never had in the past. It's just too much. They have seen that. Hey, we can own one day of the week. Why not own 3 or 4 days of the week? And the NFL can, because here's the thing, guys. As much as we would say, like, hey, here's a solution, quite honestly, I'd be pissed off if the NFL went down to 14 weeks. Yeah. It would suck. Yeah. As the entertainer, as the person who's being entertained by it, I would be pissed with it. But it is a good point. There's definitely load management, and I also say with the amount that running backs are not getting paid, I also think that they are also very willing to say, you know what, you're not going to pay me. I'm not feeling too well. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to collect my check for the year, and because you're not going to get your paycheck kept from you because of injury. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, why? I don't blame them. I mean, I honestly, there was some speculation that running back specifically. You looked at Eckler, you looked at Barkley. You looked at even Montgomery. You now look at the running back. Oh, I can't think of his name.
Williams for the Rams,
but also the guy that's down in Carolina now that came from the Eagles from Penn State. He's out.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, so it's like you see all these backs that are kind of very comfortable. Just, hey, you know what? Yep, I'm a little dinged. I'll sit. Good luck. So maybe it's their way also of kind of trying to say, here's my value, because when I'm not in, because look at the Giants. When Saquon was not in, they were god-awful. When he was in, they actually hung with the Bills with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So
it's a very quarterback at that. Tyrod Taylor's not bad.
Absolutely. His biggest thing is he's always going to get dinged because he's just – he extends plays with his legs, and he's going to take a hit.
All right, so as opposed to shortening a season entirely by, say, 4 games, do you add 2 bye weeks? Do you add 3 bye weeks?
No, I don't agree with that either.
But I'm saying if you had 2 bye weeks and split them up, let the guys heal for 2 different weeks. We're not going to sit here and solve this because – I don't think Roger Goodell and, his little pundits are going to listen to anything we have to say. But, at the same time, I think it's tough because here you are, we say it's bad football, but guess what? Are we going to tune in? Yes. Are they going to make money? Yes. Do they give a shit? No. So it's kind of, here's the problem. Nothing's going to change, because you're still going to make
entertainment.
Money. Yeah.
They make the proclamation of sports entertainment.
Yeah. So, well, let's kind of look back a little bit, guys. At some of the games this past week. One of the big headlines from this past week was obviously the last two undefeated teams, both went down.
Who are those teams, Ty?
Yeah, my Niners went down to the Browns, so I appreciate that, Trent. And then the Eagles actually lost to potential future MVP, Trent, Zach Wilson and the Jets.
Oh, you shut
I'm just kidding. But yeah, Eagles down, Niners down. I don't know. Some things to kind of keep an eye on is I think the Niners are going to be okay. I think the Eagles are going to be okay. I both think they had some hiccups. I think they both faced pretty good defenses. I don't know. And again, I'm going to go back to this, and I know I think I know Trent's answer, but I don't know. Are the Jets that bad?
Yes. I mean, I'll give the Jets credit. I mean, yeah, you don't have Aaron Rodgers but your defense played good. But where I'm going to give them most credit is I'm pretty sure the Jets were down their top 4 cornerbacks against the Eagles. So what I'm also going to say on the flip side is maybe the Eagles' offense isn't clicking as much as it was last year, because I don't think they've yet to look good this year.
Consistently.
And I did make this statement that the Eagles are going to have success this year because of their defense. If you recall,
not disagreeing with that. Yeah.
I said they will be a defense-first team, where last year, I'm not saying they didn't have a good defense, but Hurts had that offense clicking on all cylinders. A.J. Brown was a brand-new great toy to use for him. But I'm just, I'm not sold on the Jets, but Tyler, I will say this. If the Jets did have Aaron Rodgers, I would be owing you that bet for their team total wins, because they would have cleared 9.5.
Yeah. I mean,
because I also think a lot of the guys that are injured on the defense right now, I also think a lot of those guys would be playing through that injury if Aaron Rodgers was on the other side of the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think there's some new life, though, breathed into him? Beating the top Eagles, I mean, I think the guys are going to want to play for Salah, and I think they're going to,
Let's talk about.
I think Salah has that defense somewhat motivated. Their defensive front is tough.
Yeah,
their front is tough, but I mean, come on, where are you going with Zach Wilson?
Nowhere.
Maybe
you're
the
right.
playoffs.
Exactly.
Maybe
absolutely
the playoffs.
Nowhere. No, you're not.
There's no way they're going to the playoffs. They're not even close.
You're gonna jump on the bandwagon and trade too, huh?
Put a beer bet on it with Tyler. Bet him.
Okay.
Throw it at him. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Ty. Back it up. There's Zach Wilson, fan 101.
Hold on. What? No, I'm not a Zach Wilson fan. I just don't
playoffs
think
or bust.
No, I just don't think. I didn't say playoffs or bust. I said what their win total was, and I think that they have a chance. What are they right now? Are they 3-2? They're 3-3.
Yeah.
It's 500. Most people counted them out. So
they're not going to be 500.
Nope.
I don't know. We'll see.
At best, 7 and 10.
They have to win 10, don't they, for me to win the bet?
Yes.
Shit. I wish it was 9.
Yeah.
Understand though that this bet was made prior to Aaron Rodgers going down.
But Tyler, I also upped it. I said, if they don't cover 9.5, you only owe me 1 beer. But I said, if the Jets without Aaron Rodgers, that's stipulation because rumor is Week 15 return.
I did say that.
Without Aaron Rodgers playing the rest of the year, if they win over 9.5 games, I will not just buy you a beer, I'll buy you a 4-pack.
All right.
Okay.
Double perpetual at Trogs.
Yes. It's the good stuff.
There you go. All right. Moving from the Jets, you guys have any other headlines? Because I have a couple that I want to definitely discuss.
Yeah, I will. And I'm going to defend the 49ers again on Trey's behalf.
Wow.
Love it.
No, seriously. What was really upsetting last week was that hit on third and 10.
Yeah.
And guy hits him as clean as, it was a beautiful hit. It's a hit that the NFL used to advertise the NFL. And, they call a defenseless receiver. He went shoulder to shoulder with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 4th and 10. Defense will show pressure. Whenever they showed pressure, they had the quarterback panicked.
Mm-hmm.
And game over.
Yeah.
And that was taken from the game. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to comment on is New England. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Raider fan. I do like the Raiders, but we struggled with New England. And New England, to me, they're almost as bad as the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. So the New England thing,
They're worse, Dad. Just to clarify, they are worse.
I agree. Well, when Fields is playing way above his head in my eyes, and I think Fields being injured, I will just say I'm not a big Fields fan, but Fields is playing way above his head, and he's going to be hurt like this a lot because of the way he plays the game.
Yeah. But
right now, New England doesn't. Yeah, you're right. I think they are below the Bears.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
So there is rumor. There is some NFL rumor on the, I guess we'll call it X world, formerly Twitter. There is some rumors floating around right now that Robert Kraft is looking for a way to move on, not just from Belichick the coach, but also Belichick the GM. Kind of almost cut ties, which is a little against what we've talked about in previous weeks. Is, we kind of looked at it, okay, sail into the sunset, give up your head coaching title or whatever it is, or give up your GM title and continue to do what you do. But I think the fan base is getting a little bit loud. And for one sense, I mean, you're the Patriots and your fan base right now, I'm sure you have a younger generation of fan base where you're used to winning Super Bowl every other year. So you're going to be pretty loud right now. But you have not been a team since Brady left. And real quick, I'll just give a quick Tom Brady shout out. Tom Brady now has 8 championships. 8 championships. Not 7 anymore. You know why? The Las Vegas Aces last night won the WNBA championship. And Brady owns some stake in the Aces. Yes. So,
does he own a stake in the Aces?
Yeah, he has a minority ownership with them. So
because of the Raiders owner, Davis.
I guess there's some sort of connection with that.
I don't think that deal's been done yet.
Davis is the owner of the Aces and the Raiders.
But Brady's also a minority owner of the Aces as well. So Tom Brady now 8 championships. But no, the Patriots have not done anything, since Brady left. And, to what it is, it's like, I don't know. And we talk about it a lot. I feel like we constantly talk about what's going to happen to Belichick, and it's just kind of same old song. It's like nothing changes. He doesn't change. So what the hell is going to happen if you continue to do the same thing over and over again and think, oh yeah, Mac Jones is still our guy. Oh yeah, we're still going to do this again. We're still going to try this again until you make.
Where's he at in the all-time win list?
I don't know, but you're going to have to make a drastic change.
He's close.
But I'm saying you're going to have to make a drastic change for anything to actually happen in New England. And I'm talking from a Belichick standpoint. I don't know what that change is, but he's got to do something different. You can't just sit here and just kind of ride the wave and expect things to happen because you're not scoring points. You're not stopping people. All right, your entire team looks pretty rough, overall. I don't see them being successful at all. So,
yeah. Right now, I'll just say Belichick is stuck at 299 career wins. The next guy up that he would potentially, it is George Halas.
Wow. And what's that number all time?
What about 314?
Halas has 318.
318.
Okay.
And my guess is,
Shula's all time.
That's what I was going to say. It doesn't show Shula on here for some reason.
All time.
Yeah.
Are you
Shula,
is that
I
the
think, is
stat
up
guys?
around 340 some.
Yeah, stat guys.
Shula had the Colts. Shula had the Colts and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stat guys, thank you. Thanks for running down the hall for me. Thank you.
Those rascals, man, they're nuts.
Yes, they're quick. They are quick.
Hey,
But,
you taught your dog well.
No, it's the stat guys.
Stat guys, computer guys, they're crazy. So here's my other question here, guys, and this is kind of, in our field of things, is we're constantly looking at lines, spreads, things like that. I look at once you start getting into paying attention to lines and spreads, lines are spreads, sorry, but over-unders, things like that, you realize how much fishy stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it really just, it prompted me to kind of think about, how how much control the referees kind of have in some of these games in all sports. So I want to propose this question to you. I don't know how this would go over. It probably is impossible. But
hold on, real quick. Is the question, should we have let Tyler dox the referees in that one episode for the NFL early in the season? And the answer is yes. You should have let me tell them all about them.
Anyway, let me put this out there. This is kind of a cool thing to bring up to people if you're, just talking sports with your buddies. But if you could bet on the over-under flags thrown in a game, would you do it? Like, would you bet on it? And I think with that, you also have to list the officials' names that are calling the game. So maybe the crew, that is going to be calling the game for that.
Oh, but, dude, I would totally bet that. I'd almost bet that every week if I know the crew that's that I can bet on, for sure. I would totally bet that as a line of some sort. FanDuel, hey, listen, Bearded Baker Banter, we'd like a sponsorship. And if you would like an idea, we'd like to start betting on flags.
Over under. Think about that.
Yeah, no, I would totally do that. Because there are some officials. There's some officials that just eat their flags. There's some officials that it's every other play. I mean, look at the Niners. I think the Niners game with the officials that game, I think it was over 20.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
It was every other play. It was awful, and not to a point where it was like, what's that?
Biased. Sounds a little biased. I mean,
I'm saying it was both sides. There was 20 penalties.
Oh
over
yeah,
20
it was
penalties.
It was the whole game. The whole game.
There wasn't a flow to the game, and that's what I get frustrated with.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But
all right. Well, any other takeaways from this week, or are we ready to move into looking ahead? Or
one other thing that I do want that I've seen floated around. I don't know how reliable sources are, but I am seeing some chatter about the possibility of Derrick Henry being traded. So that's starting to get a little bit of chatter. I don't know how much. Again, that's the X world of things. It's not necessarily saying it's coming from ESPN or any of these other sports places, but I'm seeing the little possibilities of Derrick Henry trade, which if you really want to talk about, tanking it for a season, trade Derrick Henry if you're the Titans. But no, the other thing that I do want to talk about is the Chiefs' offense, and I don't see the Chiefs being the Chiefs right now. Now I understand they just got Mecole Hardman back.
Does that really wait? Are you saying like that makes an actual difference?
That has nothing to do with what I'm going to say. I'm saying that's just something that was added to their offense. But I don't know. I think, Trent, back to your point a couple weeks ago, I think the Chiefs' defense right now is the only reason they're winning games, and it's not the Chiefs' offense. And I guess my question is why? What's wrong with the Chiefs' offense when you have the same exact offense as you did last year, besides Bieniemy?
Juju Smith-Schuster.
And Bieniemy is now gone. So I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to sit there and say Bieniemy not being there is the reason they're not having success. I just think, once again, we're just seeing ugly. We're seeing ugly football, guys. Like, I don't know what it is, but like teams are not scoring points, and I just think it's like mistakes. I mean, look at the Vikings. If they don't have the amount of turnovers they have right now, you're looking at probably a plus. Maybe what is it? They got 2-4. Mm-hmm. They're probably at least they're 3-3. Right, maybe 4, maybe even 4-2 if they don't have to. I just think it's ugly football. I mean, the Chiefs, in my opinion, last year, how the hell they do it? Because in reality, you had Juju Smith-Schuster as your number one receiver on the outside. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you have Travis Kelce, but he's not technically a wide receiver. So once again, I look at the Chiefs and say, well, you pretty much have a shoe-in playoff spot because you have the Raiders, who are not real contenders. I know they're 500. You have the Chargers, who are actually worse than the Raiders right now.
Mm-hmm.
They should be firing their head coach after where they lose again this week.
I don't know how long
And then
it's
you
gonna
have
take.
nobody knows. You're wasting a talented defensive roster, which their head coach is a defensive coach, and you're wasting in my opinion, a really, really good quarterback in his prime years right now.
Oh
Yeah.
So you have the Chargers, and then you have the Broncos. None of those three teams. You should, if you're the Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
you should go undefeated in your division.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you win a couple. As long as you win a couple of these other games, you're going to get in the playoffs. Plain and simple.
And
weirdly enough, they're not challenged.
Weirdly enough, though, do you remember, what was it, about 2 years, maybe even not last year, 2 years ago? I think it was Russell Wilson's first year before we knew what Denver Bronco Russell Wilson would look like. That division, we were like, holy shit. That is going to be dominant. Every team's going to make the playoffs. Like, it's going to be just, a crapshoot of success. Now we know what Russell Wilson for the Broncos looks like. We know that Staley's not the answer for the Chargers. And the Raiders, I don't really have a comment because I week to week, I have no clue what the hell's going to happen with them.
Well, Garoppolo's out again this week.
I know. It's going to be kind of an interesting matchup this week because I do have that on a possibility of my matchups here this week that we'll talk about. But yeah, it's interesting. So, well, let's jump into some games here. Any games you guys want to discuss coming into this week here? Because there are some favorable matchups. I'll just have you guys know too, just from a gambling perspective. I believe the unders went 12-2-1 last week. So to really kind of give the credibility to the shitty ass football that we're seeing in terms of points, yeah. If you're getting the unders, and if you look at the unders this week, there's barely teams over 40 this week in terms of total points. Just to kind of show you. So. Very, very interesting right now. But any games you guys have on your list here to watch this week?
Yeah, I got 4.
That's funny. I have 4 as well.
Yeah, I'm going to rattle them off.
Go ahead.
All right, I got Raiders money line. They are -2.5 now with the Garoppolo news. But they're playing a Division II quarterback led Chicago Bears. If you can't beat, no offense, all right, but if you can't beat that rookie this week, you're a joke. Yeah. And the Bears are not a talented team, in my opinion. So Raiders money line, I'm not even going to mess with the spread of -2.5, -3. Take the money line. You can get them for about -150, -155.
That spread is, what do you say, 2.5?
-2.5 now. It was 3. I like the Browns. I like the Browns -3 at the Colts. I think it's going to be another similar game in the sense that there's going to be like no points scored, the most boring thing to watch in the world. But I'm sorry, I'm not taking Browns -3. I'm taking Browns money line. You can actually get them for about -140 to -146 on most books. I got the scariest pick that just once again makes me say, Trent, you're an idiot. You're going to fall for Vegas's antics. And that is the Lions +3 at the Ravens.
I'm falling for it too, man. I'm falling for it too.
I'm taking it. I mean, I get Montgomery's probably out, but you're getting Gibbs back. And you know what my game changer is? And I'm going to make this statement, and I said this guy is a surprise MVP candidate, although he's not right now. But Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. And I'm going to make that statement right now.
I would agree with that.
I'd agree with that too. And I think he's able to make plays happen. He looks like he's actually having fun. Lamar Jackson looks stressed. And I think that shows in their offense. I think that
looks bad.
Well, and I think that goes back to culture. Like we had talked about with the Lions and what MCDC is able to build there in terms of his culture of his team. I'm not saying John Harbaugh doesn't build a good culture with his team, but I think that the Lions players would do anything for their coach. And I think I think that's so evident in the way that they're playing and the way that the Lions of old would just kind of roll over, but the Lions of new are like, hey, guess what? We're in this to fight. You got a young defense, you got a young offense, you got a lot of talent around there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see that they're dogs.
Tyler, can I pause you for a second? you kind of sound like me all preseason shows and episodes where you guys were like, you really think the Lions are going to be that good? Welcome aboard, buddy.
I needed
told
proof.
you.
I needed proof. I needed proof
Dan
because
Campbell, biting kneecaps, son of a gun, blue collar, let's go to work type guy. You know, you're right.
Understand this though.
His culture is changing that franchise.
I agree with you. But understand though too, as I did compliment the Lions defense especially. All right. Actually, I complimented the Lions, I think, for their draft that they had. Because I think they had such a great ass draft that I think a lot of that is evident right now. Laporta, your tight end right now, stud. All right. I know this wasn't this draft, but Hutchinson, defensive player of the year possibility, stud. All right. I think you have a lot of young talent around you right now, the guys right now that are all buying in. And I think Goff's like, hey, you know, I'm former NFL #1 pick overall, that I'm just kind of reaping the benefits right now. And
I was throwing in the Stafford deal.
Yeah, it's like literally. I mean, he was literally thrown in the trash. Let's be honest. The Rams threw Goff in the trash and said, "Go to the Lions. Your career's done.
Fault.
Yeah, you're done. We don't buy into you." And I'm impressed by Goff, and I guess you could say it's tenacity of able to kind of overcome and like stick with it and say like, no, like I'm going to continue to fight. All right, I'm going to play quarterback for the Lions here. And he, at least I would say his consistency comes from him having a head coach that cares. Because I think a lot of these guys that go to these teams to die get stuck with coaches that are there for a year, are there for maybe 2 years, you know, and they just don't buy in. But, you know, when you got to get somebody like Dan Campbell that, you know, buys in and is like, listen, I'll go to battle with you, I'll go to war with you. I mean, I feel like the guys feel like he could actually go out there and play, which I don't know. There's sometimes I actually feel like he could actually go out there and play.
I think he actually could.
Yeah. And actually destroy some people. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm all about the Lions right now. I'm impressed. They're impressing me, and to have them as a dog against the Ravens, I think, is kind of a slap in the face to the Lions. And I think that's how they'll view it as well. So.
Agreed. My best bet, real quick.
Yeah.
It's my last one.
Sorry, I went all over there.
No, you're good. You're good. I like the Chiefs -5.5 versus the Chargers. That's my best bet.
That's your best bet?
Lock it in.
Wow. All right, there was a lot of other ones that I actually thought were better, but yeah, all right. So those are your bets. Do you have any like games that you are just eyeing? Period. Any of you guys?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of my best bets is the Bills over New England. I mean, considering you're not going to shut down Allen for 2 consecutive weeks. They played the Giants. They need a statement game. And what better team to do it against than New England, the team that suppressed you for years and years. So come out and have a day on New England, celebrate on New England, while New England's suffering a little bit.
Huh. You know, and you know what's funny?
Dad, you're gonna lay the 8.5.
I would.
You would lay the 8.5.
They're gonna absolutely destroy New England.
Can I ask you though, like, are you guys sold on Allen this year, or is he not? Is he not overcompensating the little controversy at the beginning of the year with Stephon Diggs to the point where
he forces the ball to Stephon Diggs right
the only person he throws to. It's the only person he throws to.
The guy that's suffering out of this whole thing is Knox.
And Gabe
Knox
Davis
was always his fallback guy, you know, and all of a sudden, it's a tight end. Oh, it's a tight end. Their tight end is non-existent right now.
So I'm going to kind of disagree with you on this, Dad. I had that game circled as a game to watch, but I kind of have a feeling that the Bills, I don't know, I feel like it's too obvious. I feel like the Bills should go in there and just put up 100 points on them, right?
Yeah.
But I just have a weird feeling that in New England, I don't think the Patriots, somehow, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I don't feel like the Patriots are just going to roll over and just die. I feel like this could be a
I
game.
know. I don't think they're going to roll over and die. I think the Bills are going to literally kill them because their defense, the Bills' defense right now is ferocious.
That's a spread I'm staying away from for sure. I'm not taking 8.5 or 9. I don't know. I'm not sold on the Bills at all, just based on the fact of what they did against the Giants last week. I feel like the Giants and Patriots are kind of one and the same right now. So I don't know. The game makes me nervous, but I don't know. But you're on the Bills.
What about Pittsburgh? What about that game?
Yeah. So the Steelers-Rams game.
It's an intriguing game, to be honest with you.
It is. You got a great defense and terrible offense, and you got a possibility of a high-powered offense with the Rams. I actually do have. This is actually one of my bets here, so I did take the Lions +3. But my other bet here was the Rams Steelers, and I have it actually at under 43.5 for -108. Which, interestingly enough, the Rams Steelers game, with as bad as the Steelers offense is, the fact that this was one of the few games this week that was over a 40 point in terms of like total points was very interesting to me. It was -108 too, which actually showed me too that it was actually, not the favorite of the bets, but I'm taking the under on that. I think that could be a crapshoot. I really feel like the Steelers are going to throw a lot of different interceptions, fumbles. I also feel like Matthew Stafford will probably have at least 2 interceptions or an interception and a fumble, thanks to T.J. Watt. So that's my take on that game, but I do think the under hits. So, yeah.
I don't like the game itself. I just there's something funny about it. I just keep thinking Aaron Donald, a Pitt player putting out a Pitt player.
Yeah, Pickett and Donald. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And we'll go after him.
That's for sure.
Aaron Donald.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not looking forward to the NFL board this week.
Yeah, it's tough. The only other one that I wanted to kind of highlight. We already talked about all the other ones that you guys mentioned as well. I have the Niners-Vikings circled, obviously, just for the reason that I'm a Niners fan. I think San Fran bounces back this week against a primetime Kirk Cousins. I think San Fran definitely covers the spread. I think it's about 7.5, 7 right now. I'm definitely taking San Fran on that. But the other bet that I have is actually the Cardinals-Seahawks game. I have Cardinals +7.5.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm taking the dog. I'm taking the Cardinals +7.5 against Seattle. I don't think Seattle, and I've said this a couple times, I think Seattle's overrated. I think that Dobbs right now with the Cardinals just is like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to do whatever I can do, play as hard as I can, and just kind of surprise some people. So I'm going to sprinkle on the Cardinals 7.5, but not something I'm super confident in.
As I say, Tyler, I would fade you on that.
That's fine.
In Seattle, I feel like all of Arizona's big performances. All of Arizona's big performances have been at home, where it's a little bit more fair. They got to go into that Seattle stadium to do that. So I'm on the opposite on that. If I had to pick, I'm sorry.
All right.
Is what it is.
I'm not high on that game either, but I don't think the fans show up for that game.
Yeah, no, it could be a dud. Any B teasers?
Yes, I do. I have one.
What is a B teaser?
All right, so a B teaser is when you take your pinky. All right?
This is awkward.
I'm just kidding.
You stop it, Tyler.
A B teaser is a Bearded Baker banter teaser. All right, so what you're able to do on teasers, Dad, with gambling is you're able to actually add or subtract points to spreads, to over-unders. It gives you less odds, so it's a good. Obviously, you would use it when you put a parlay together. So, say you put a parlay together and you got, say, the Bills +6.5, right? And you tease them to like 5. All right, you could tease them to +11.5.
Okay.
So it gives you your parlay. You have less odds. It's still just a kind of a nice way to make a little bit more money than you would with using a parlay, but not taking just a full blown straight out bets.
Okay.
They're actually just called teasers. We just added the B on it because it's funny.
I like it.
You tease the line one direction or the other.
Yeah.
So I have a 4-leg B teaser this week. Yep, 4-legger here. It only comes out to be plus 200 because I did 6.5.
Okay.
Plus 6.5. So I have the Lions, which comes out to be I have the Lions plus 9.5. I have the Rams plus 3.5. I have the Chiefs plus 1.
Okay.
And then I have the Dolphins plus 9.
Okay.
And I do believe
like
the last leg is the scariest leg. Dolphins plus 9 versus the Eagles. So
You think that's scary?
I don't hate it. I
don't know what to expect out of it. The Dolphins' last big matchup they got crushed by the Bills.
Yeah.
So this to me is if the Dolphins get crushed, then when you look at their schedule, then I question, are they going to be a true contender when it comes postseason?
Yeah, they got a pretty difficult schedule coming up.
They do.
All right. Well, that's a sweet B teaser.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Worked hard on that.
All right.
I like your Dolphins. I'll be honest, they're stronger ones.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, you talk about high-powered offense, great defense. I mean, who comes out on top? I mean, can you figure out how to stop, the machine that right now is the Dolphins? I don't know. I mean, they're an interesting team. And
Did the Jets expose the Eagles?
I don't know. I mean, if anything, I feel like if the Dolphins defense can come out, because I feel like the Jets defense exposed anything the Eagles might have had offensively going. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. Miami's a tough team for me to figure out, but I do think their offense is lethal.
The Miami front is pretty tough, but the Eagles have a great offensive line.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Why?
I think they lost 2 or 3 guys last week.
Yeah, they're down 3.
Lane Johnson.
No, I think they lost 3.
Yeah.
They lost 3 starters last week.
Okay, then.
So maybe my Dolphins
like your Dolphins pick.
Yeah,
There you go. All right. Hey, let's go college. Let's get into, in my opinion, the better of the football being played right now, because college football is hot.
Listen,
in my opinion.
I got 4 games to recap right now, but we have to start with the most electrifying college football game so far. I think, Trent, you might agree with this. This year, the most electrifying game so far was Washington and Oregon.
Yeah, and I'd like to pause. And I'd like to take this time to make an announcement.
Oh boy.
I'm officially. I'm
coming.
officially on the big Penix Energy train.
Boom!
Sign me up.
Yes,
Sign
sir.
me up.
Dude.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm done. Heisman. Give it to him.
Dude, he's freaking awesome, isn't he?
Give it to him.
Yeah,
smooth. He's smooth, man.
Dude.
And they've got studs on that offense. But here's the thing: is I'm gonna put it all in. I'm all in on the Washington Huskies. They better not freaking let me down. They better make the playoff. They better get to the national championship. We better have a Pac-12 national champion this year.
Yep. Dude, how sick would that be?
All right, now you sound like Bill Walton, for gosh sakes.
Well,
come on.
Hey,
hold on, though.
Conference of Champions. Stop.
Now, can we also, though, I would also like to lobby, all right, for some sort of payment from Desmond Howard for literally stealing.
Oh, yeah.
For stealing it from right underneath us. All right, he sits there on national television on College Game Day and starts chanting Big Penix Energy. Now, granted, he also said it very wrong. He said it so wrong, dude. It was so weird. But, dude, we've been saying that since before the season even started. And all of a sudden, now they go out and they're like, oh, big, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because we have been Michael Penix fans since day one. All right, and for them to come out there and steal our thunder and try to use Big Penix energy, should have made T-shirts, man. I should have got trademark copyright. Just watch. I might still make T-shirts, but that's fine. But no, yeah, electrifying game. Obviously, was definitely Washington.
It had everything.
Everything.
It literally had everything. I mean, I'm talking. It had good offense. It had the occasional defensive stand.
Mm.
It had the goal line stand at one point.
Yep.
You know,
Missed
2-point plays. You know, potential for overtime, game-winning drive. You know, it was everything. It was just a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it was for me especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all in Washington and didn't know that was going to happen. But yeah, so that was most exciting game. Some other games just to kind of touch on too. Obviously, you had a big game with USC Notre Dame. Notre Dame kind of crawled out from under their cave.
Yeah.
But not sure really what happened there. I'm not sure what Caleb Williams was doing because he didn't look like the number 1 overall pick. I was actually ready to say that Michael Penix should probably be the number 1 pick overall over Caleb Williams after that game. I know Trent might disagree with that, but yeah, Notre Dame, man, what was the deal? Notre Dame's kind of looked like they've struggled the last couple weeks, and then you come out against a high-powered offense of USC, and you put up like what was it, 40-some points?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was the, I guess, perfect storm for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Worst nightmare for USC. But I kind of echo your take on that. Does this cause any GMs to kind of backtrack a little bit? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still all on board. Like, let my Raiders get him. I'll take him. But it does make you wonder. And you know what? I'm going to throw this out there, too, since we're on the topic of Notre Dame USC. I don't like reading the past couple stories about, you know, Caleb Williams and his draft status.
Yes.
I'm sick of hearing him say, I'll go where I want to go.
Yep.
Although he did list the Raiders. But now this week's thing is he wants ownership stake in whatever team drafts him.
Which is such bullshit.
That's what I mean. So I'm like, that kind of, it's like, dude, like, you're a rookie, or you're going to be a rookie, and you have not proven yourself in the NFL yet. Because let's be real. Yes, Kyler Murray has some success in the NFL so far. Jalen Hurts, 1 year under.
And Kyler Murray's success?
He's been a good player. Let's put it that way. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Jalen Hurts having some success.
He's the best on the quarterback lot.
Yeah, but then you also got Baker Mayfield in that area too. But I'm just saying is like you haven't proven yourself, especially on the biggest stage, which is the NFL.
Yeah.
So my thought was I was disappointed. Leaving this weekend, I was disappointed. I had a lot higher expectations. So I don't know. I question if any GMs kind of backtrack and still keep an open mind on the Drake Mays, the Michael Penix. I mean, I'm even also looking as far to say, you know, keep an eye on Riley Leonard too, the next level.
Out of Duke.
Guy can throw, and he and he's pretty durable and can do some stuff with his legs. Yeah. So, I would say keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think
they're going to hurt a little bit this week.
Well, let's transition then into this week, because that is kind of one of the games. Unless you guys have any other ones you want to talk about, I think that's one of the big games. That's the 7:30 game. Duke, Florida State, 16 versus 4. I don't know, man. I don't know that Duke is going to struggle. Go ahead.
I mean, they're one of my picks. I got Duke plus 14.5. Give it to me now.
Duke plus 14.5. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Give them to me now.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I just think big time game. Don't get me wrong. Florida State's a very talented team, but I don't think Duke football is a pretender. I think they're real.
Any thoughts, Dad?
Well, I still have a lot of questions. There's still a lot of question marks.
They should be undefeated right now. With
Should be.
Should be. Yeah.
with they should
Gotta
be.
learn to win.
Well,
Crunch time.
and maybe they did after against Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that game. You know, Florida State can be a high-powered offense, but I think Florida State. You remember if you guys back to week 1 with LSU. I mean that was a struggle there for both teams.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on Florida State.
I'm not on the Florida State train.
No. But I think that game's definitely going to be interesting. It's a good late night game that we'll actually have the opportunity to watch.
Can I tell you one team that I think Alabama's a lock this weekend against Tennessee?
Ooh, man,
Wow.
shots fired, Tyler. Shots fired.
No, I know you like Tennessee and everything, but I'm going to be honest with you. Every stinking time they play Tennessee, every time they play Alabama, they just seem to cower and fold.
Except last year.
Yeah, they won last year.
Well, I'm telling you, they're disappointing in big games.
So here's my thought on that game this week, because I do have that as one of my other games. I think the surprise in this game is that most people are going to think that this is going to be a very high-powered offensive game, right? Shootout game, Alabama, Tennessee score a ton of points. I think what you're going to see is that this is going to be a more defense-focused game. And the reason I think that Tennessee is actually going to win is because of their defense. I think they actually might surprise Alabama a little bit because Tennessee last year was 91st ranked defensively. And I believe they're in top 20 this year in terms of giving up points this year. So, which is completely opposite of what, Josh Heupel has in terms of being a coach. Usually he's like offense. Joe Milton's struggling. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Oh my gosh, I think the Alabama quarterback's terrible.
But I'm saying Alabama quarterback's terrible. Joe Milton for Tennessee is struggling a lot this year. So I think you're going to see, I believe it was 48.5, I think was the spread at one point. I think I would take the under in that game for sure. But I think Tennessee somehow pulls it out because of the Alabama quarterback. And that's the only reason. I think Joe Milton makes less mistakes than Alabama's quarterback. I think that's the difference in the game. So that's my take on that. But it is, like you said, it's not offense focused this year. It's defense focused. So I think that's very interesting to me.
As a fan, I hope you're right, but I think Alabama puts one on them.
It's not the Alabama of the past, though. Trent?
Here's my thing that I think we're also forgetting to mention is, yes, Tennessee's head coach is an offensive-minded coach, but he's always known for the passing offense.
Correct.
Their offense right now, their offensive strength is running the ball. So I think you're onto something with the under portion of it's not going to be as high scoring as the past, but then again, the line is already dropped over under 47.5. So if it was touching the 50s, then maybe I'd be taking the under. But I love Tennessee +9.
Oh yeah, is that what it is? +9.
Yeah, I think it's going back and forth at 8.5, 9. But I like the underdog here in this game to cover 9. I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility. But you're right. I mean, Bama's not the Bama of past.
Well, where are we in the season?
But they are getting
And a good coaching staff does what? You don't start that well, but you finish strong. And I'll be honest with you, Alabama always has a tendency to finish strong. I don't think they're an average football team when it comes down to it. And you guys both know that I'm not an SEC fan. I hate the SEC. But the fact of the matter is Alabama won't go down and come in with 3 and 4 losses this year. It's just not going to happen.
They'll at least have 2.
Yeah, but
They'll at least have 2.
I'm telling you right now, they're. I mean, I hope you're right. Because I do like Tennessee. I like Tennessee better than I do Alabama, but I just don't see Tennessee or Alabama losing this game.
All right. Do you guys want to get
let's go
game of the week?
No. I was going to say Penn State, Ohio State.
That's game of the week, man.
It's got to be. It really feels like this is when the Big Ten season starts, right? Like,
yeah, literally,
you finally have like right now, and it's still the Big Ten hasn't figured the damn thing out. You've got your three best teams all on one side. Like, what the hell? What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, don't be. They're so stupid. But I mean, right now, line has moved recently. Ohio State is favored by -5.5. The over/under is 45.5. Couple things that stand out to me, but I'm not necessarily saying that I'm siding with this team for this week, because I think I'm just going to be let down. But Penn State has, in 13 games now, scored 30-plus points. They do have the number one defense. However, they're also, on the flip side, back to the offense, they are 149th in explosive plays, of which, to define an explosive play, it's in
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Is it 20 yards and over?
It's 20 yards and over.
Yeah.
So
you got Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, I'm talking they're 104. I'm talking Penn State. Tyler is 149.
I thought you meant the defense giving up explosive plays.
No, I'm saying Penn State.
They have two of the best running backs in football. They really do. They have two of the best running backs in football.
So you see, then what I'm hearing is you actually see Penn State going into Ohio State and winning this weekend.
Boy, oh boy. Here's why not.
Okay.
I'd like that to happen, but here's why not. Okay, who did Ohio State play last week?
Oh man, they played. Who was it? I gotta look up stat guys. Do you know or no?
And Penn State played.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm going to tell you the flip side of that is typically Penn State comes off of a bye when they play Ohio State at this point.
They
and
basically
everyone
did come off of a bye.
But it's not a bye. It was a tune-up, right? And they were just doing what the SEC schools do, is they play tune-up games in the middle of the season rather than a bye. So that way they're not completely flat. They're still playing some sort of competition. So, like,
I like the quarterback. I like the running backs. As long as they have anybody that can shut down Marvin Harrison. I mean, Notre Dame's number 20. I don't know his name. Number 20 for Notre Dame shut Harrison completely out. I mean, he took him completely out of that game.
Was it him or was it the quarterback was taken out of the game? That'd be
Ohio
my
State
question.
played Purdue last week.
Yeah, Purdue. They beat them 41-7.
Yep.
Okay, but you know, the whole fact of the matter is if they could take Harrison out of the game at all, which last year we had an NFL defensive back guarding Harrison, and Harrison still did his thing. Porter. I mean, we had Porter last year guarding him. You know, I don't know. I think if Penn State controls time of possession with the running backs and the running game, I think Penn State could win this game.
Whew. I don't hate the spread, but the only thing I'm looking at here is the over. I'm taking the over 45.5.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so on the opposite. I am under, and under.
No. I'm taking that over.
Because what Dad just said, in order for Penn State to win, their game plan has to be control the clock. Keep Ohio State's offense off the field. So Penn State will be able to move the ball here or there, but kick field goals. Simple as that.
I don't think Ohio State's quarterback is that good either.
No, he's going to have a test.
And Penn State's defense, Penn State does pressure the quarterback.
Number one defense in the country.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's over 45.5.
I think I'm going to say it right now. Just the evidence that we just discussed. I'm going to say Penn State beats Ohio State this week.
Ooh.
Wow. Well, I guess you're the perfect fill-in for Trey.
You are. That's true.
And I say they beat him pretty good.
No. I think it's honestly, I think it's more mental.
If Notre Dame played them that tough, Penn State's a hell of a lot better than Notre Dame.
But I think it's mental. I think it's mental thing. I think it's mental thing. I think
It
goes
is a
back
mental
to.
thing.
I think it goes back to Michigan. I think when you look at Michigan when they played big teams, I think mentally they're not used to winning big games anymore like they used to way back
Is
in the
that
day.
before or after they steal their signs?
Well, that's a whole different story. Stealing signs.
I just don't. I don't think. The only thing that really worries me about Penn State is you listen to their schedule. West Virginia, mediocre. Delaware, FCS team. Yeah. Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, and UMass. I'm just
tune up.
That's a full tune-up schedule.
Tune up, and stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess their season really is. It comes down to 2 games: Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes, it does.
Which, you know what? Once again, that's why college football is doing it wrong in that sense. But I'm not going to touch the spread. It's going to be very hard because I'm going to be cheering for Penn State. The only thing I'd keep an eye on is the under in this game, actually. So I'm opposite of what Tyler said.
Okay.
The only other thing that I would like to point out to you guys in college football this week, I think it is hilarious because everything on Twitter busts on this team. This is the Iowa Hawkeyes for their lack of offense.
Yeah.
The over-under in the Iowa-Minnesota game this week is 30.5 points.
Yep. So
that is unbelievable. Like, that's unreal.
So that is actually a game. I still have a couple games to highlight here real quick. I do have the Minnesota game highlighted, obviously defensive game. PJ Fleck teams are always low-scoring games anyway. Now you're going to pair it with Iowa. I think, that over-under is not that far-fetched. I'm actually going to take Iowa's a sneaky 6-1, but I like Minnesota plus 3.5 in this game. There's something about this game. I don't know what it is, but I actually like Minnesota and PJ Fleck at plus 3.5 in this game.
I'm with you on that side.
That comes from a PJ Fleck fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but understand though, I've been Iowa through and through since the beginning of the year when we started, when we did our preseason NCAA football thing. But I don't know. There's something about Minnesota that I think that Iowa might struggle with. So, yeah, I'm on Minnesota plus 3.5. That's actually one of my bets. I'm on the Penn State Ohio State over 45.5. Minnesota plus 3.5. Another game to kind of keep an eye on too is the Ole Miss Auburn game. The total is 54.5 for that game. I am all over that over 54.5 minus 108. So I think keep an eye on Auburn in that game because that's a game that Lane Kiffin could lose from a sneaky Auburn team that just kind of can disrupt some things. But I do think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Michigan State's another game to keep an eye on, not because Michigan State's any good at all, but for whatever reason it is, I feel like Michigan State always plays Michigan tough. Regardless of how good Michigan is, Michigan's been, I think, holding teams to maybe a touchdown a game right now. Not saying that Michigan State's going to score a ton, but I don't think Michigan's going to, steamroll them. And then the other game, you ready for this one? Air Force. Air Force is number 22 in the nation right now. One of the few undefeated teams at 6-0. They play Navy this week at Navy. Something to keep an eye on.
Navy.
It's going to be interesting because Air Force can score a bundle of points, or they can also beat you by 3 points by scoring 3-0.
Bundle, not a bunches. Bundle.
All
right.
Hey, my only other bet this week though for college football is, I love obviously to bet on Washington in some fashion. I got Washington. This might be a little bit crazy, all right, because this is kind of going against what I normally do. Washington team total under 42.5 against
Jeez.
Arizona State this week at -115. Okay, and the reason being, I'm going to give you my logic behind it, is my reason is because I feel like you're going to see Penix pulled out pretty early. All right. Got the Penix pulled out. But I think you're going to see Penix pulled out pretty early, where they'll probably score somewhere in the 30s, probably high 30s. But
the one game that I did want to keep an eye on was USC Utah. I think USC comes back real strong. I don't think Utah has the offense. I mean, Utah's 14 in the country right now.
mm-hmm.
USC's 18. I think USC puts one on Utah right now.
I don't know, because I think it's obviously a must win for USC. It's a must win. If you can't lose this. If you're UFC right now, you have to win this game. But
yeah, you're right.
This is a high powered offense versus tough ass defense in Utah. And I think you're gonna, it's gonna be a battle. I think USC probably comes out on top. I agree with you on that. But I think it's going to be a little closer than we think. And I don't think USC is going to put up your 40-some points like they normally do or typically do.
I disagree. I think they will.
I just don't think if Cam Rising's not playing, USC destroys them.
Yep.
Agreed.
And I don't
agree with that.
Yep.
Like, it's because here's the thing is I'm pretty sure Cam Rising at least played in one game, and they looked like the Utah of recent years. Without Cam Rising, Utah is not a good football team in terms of they're not going to be able to score to keep up with USC. Could they stop USC? There's potential, but it's at home, conference game. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't know. I think USC wins it.
Yeah, that'll be that's going to be a good matchup for sure. But all right, Trent, you said you got you want to lead us into kind of closing things up here.
Heck yeah. Well,
heck yeah. You sure?
Oh yeah, because I know Trey might be a little upset that I bring this up with him not being here, but the first college basketball AP Top 25 poll has been released this week, boys.
Yep.
And
I know.
And wait, you don't know anything.
I do know because I've seen the poll.
Oh well, I was just going to say that my paychecks are going to start to come back in now that college basketball starts from the ACC.
That's good.
The ACC with a good 3 teams in the top 25. We have the Duke Blue Devils at number 2. I believe it's the Miami Hurricanes at number 13, and then some other team that just they just take up space.
Wow.
But that's UNC at number 19. I guess what they tried to do this year was, not put as much pressure on USC, considering their preseason number 1 didn't even make the NIT. So they have a little bit of a chance to have a little less pressure on them. But Kansas number 1 overall, but who really knows? They might have to forfeit that ranking at some point down the road with how many illegal things that they've done. And they still
just get a slap on the wrist. It's such bullshit.
It's constant. Yeah. So, but it is very interesting because 3 of the top 4 teams are going to be playing in the championship classic that happens every year with Kansas, Duke, Michigan State in the top 3. Duke plays Michigan State. That is, people don't get jacked up about November college basketball, but I do. I don't know about you guys, but I do. I mean, that's phenomenal basketball. Is it way too early? Yeah, okay, I get it. But, dude, that is Duke, Michigan State, 7 o'clock, month of November. Let's go. So I had to get that out there about the college basketball. There is some interesting teams in my opinion, towards the top. You do have a Marquette at number 5. You have Houston, who's been up there quite some time now, past couple of years, at 8. But then you have FAU as a top 10 team
top
this
10
year.
To start, man.
So that to me is extremely interesting. I know we're going to do a college basketball preview, but I'm going to say the most underrated team is Villanova. They have about 8 seniors. 8 seniors on their basketball team. So watch out for them to achieve higher than projected.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, had to bring that up. Sorry, it's my personal favorite.
No, I know. I did see the top 10 or top 25 come out this week. I was like, here we go, giddy up.
Darn right.
But yeah, we will definitely do a preview episode for sure. Just to kind of roll things and finalize some stuff here, we do have a giant UFC card this weekend. On Saturday, UFC 294, which those of you that will be watching it starts at 2:00 because it is being held in Abu Dhabi. So won't be one of those late night ones that we get to enjoy, but it is a 2:00 start. You got 2 big fights here. Obviously, your main event and your co-main event. Your co-main event and main event actually had 2 new guys step in. So let's just quickly kind of go through, discuss what you think, who's gonna win, and then we'll kind of finish things up there. We got
Can I pause you before we go with our winners losers?
Sure.
I loved the quote from one of our favorite guys, Penn State wrestler Bo Nickel this week. Did any of you guys catch his quote?
No. What is that?
So to quote him, I'm guessing that they didn't want me to roll over into Abu Dhabi on 10 days' notice and smash their boy in front of his home crowd or something. Oh. That was Bo Nickel on the UFC not offering him the fight versus Kamzat. I don't know.
Yeah, Kamzat.
Kumquat Chimev. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so he said 10 days' notice, and I'd come over and smash him.
Yeah.
So,
and he's undefeated too.
Well, Bo's also typically a pretty humble guy, so to see that quote, I was like, whoa, okay, let's go.
Giddy up, man. Yeah. Well, so looking at the odds too, I mean, this is straight from the UFC.com. So you got Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat or Kumquat, I was trying to call him, Chimaev. You have Usman, number 1 contender, right? Plus 285 versus a 4 contender at minus 360 odds. Who we got?
Gosh, I hate it. Like, I mean, you guys, is it not crazy that we're going to sit here and say that, I mean, I think, am I going to sit here and say that we're all hoping Usman wins?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually.
So weirdly enough, yes, because
I'm not an Usman fan at all.
I've never cheered for Usman. All right. However,
me neither.
All right, I can't stand the other guy. All right. Here's the thing, though. All right, if you're a betting person right now, you have to keep in mind that there was video evidence that just released. All right, on X. All right, about Usman when he was actually grappling with Gaethje, where thought he heard something pop with his shoulder or something else. All right, so it's something to keep in mind. I mean, if he's not
okay, 100%, they said that, but he also got right back up and continued throwing punches.
Not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying it's something that you have to consider.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not take Usman plus 285? You know, at least for the fight, you know, to go the distance even, you know, as a decision. But like, if he's dealing with any ailments, you know that's going to be gone after, and I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one for me. I'm gonna sprinkle on Usman because why not?
Money line.
What?
Money line.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I'll sprinkle on Usman for sure. The betting's in your favor, dude. Why would you not?
I know, but I just feel like this is one of those cards where we're both gonna bet on the people that we want to win, but in reality, I don't think those two people have any business winning the fight.
If any of the so let's jump into the main event now. All right, you got.
Well, no, I want to give you my favorite bet in the Usman fight. I don't like either of the money lines. I like taking over 2.5 rounds in the Usman fight at plus 135. I think Usman can get it to 3.
Is that what it is? Plus 135 for over 2.5 rounds.
Over 2.5 rounds.
Now, Trent, I ask you this though: is it a 5-round fight or a 3-round fight? Because that's something to keep in mind. It might only be a 3-round fight though.
It's not a championship.
Is it a title fight? No. Hold on, but isn't it a main event?
I'm not sure it's a co-main event officially though.
It is. It's the second.
I know it's the second last fight, but I'm saying I'm
then
not
that
sure
should be a 5-rounder.
I'm not sure that it is.
Well, I think Usman can stretch it the distance. Matter of fact, if he's going to win, I mean, here's the thing: Usman is known. Yes, he's known for his jab, but he's also known to be able to just like wrestle people to sleep. You know, so it's like not to actually put them to sleep, but I'm talking like make it a very boring fight. So if he's healthy enough, I think he could survive the distance.
Okay, so it's only a 3-round fight.
I still go Usman.
So it says for the first time, which actually is interesting because it's the first time in a long time that Usman is actually not fighting a 5-round fight.
Sell it out.
He usually fights 5 rounds, so you know he's going to definitely be in shape for 3 for sure.
Yeah. He took the fight on 12 days' notice.
Yeah, no, I know.
Jeez.
All right, so you said over 2.5, Trent, so you think the fight goes the distance then?
I do. I like it going the distance. I don't know. I mean, I think that has a better chance than Usman actually winning.
All right.
And the odds say that too, obviously.
All right, well let's jump into the actual main event here. So this is going to be a 5-rounder. You got Makhachev and Volk. Champion versus champion, round 2. All right. Makhachev is minus 340 as the favorite. Minus 340. Volk's plus 270.
Ugh.
I'm be honest with you. I'm all over Volkanovski on this.
I'm all over Volk too.
After him,
he's got something to prove. He had the last fight stolen from him.
He has something to prove,
and he knows it.
Yes, he has something to prove. He feels like the last fight was stolen from him. He's going to come out and make sure that he finishes this fight. Maybe not quickly, but he's going to finish the fight. He
already said last time he said he was too cautious.
Yeah.
He played it too safe. And he goes, not this time. He goes, I'm letting hang out. If I win that way or if I lose that way, I'm letting it all hang out.
You got to understand, there's no way in hell he's going to let this go to the judges.
There's no law. There's no love lost there either.
Yeah, no way in hell. If you look at the damage that Makhachev took last time, there's no way in hell that Volk's going to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, judges, go ahead. You decide who wins or loses." He's totally wrong for this, man.
All right.
I take Volk. I don't know. I'm taking.
What are you taking, Trent? You didn't say.
Man. Once again, I feel like I do it too much in the UFC when I put my wagers on. I bet too much with my heart. I have to. In this one, I have to bet with my heart, and I'm going to take Volk. The only thing that really worries me is I do believe he's coming off of an operation after his last win on his arm. And then the other thing that worries me is he had to drop in about how many days notice did he just get?
11, 12.
11 or 12 days?
He said 12, they said 11.
Yeah, so he
had to drop weight.
He had to drop 26 pounds.
Doesn't he usually fight lower, though?
Maybe he had to gain 26 pounds. It was a 26-pound difference. He was 180.
But he's not a
Hey,
lightweight.
go with me to a food buffet. I'll put on 26 in 2 nights.
He's usually under, though, man.
Tyler, he was when he got the call about the fight, they said he weighed 180. He does not fight at 180.
Okay, so.
But he usually trains. Even if he's not in a fight, he's still training. He's going to be ready. He'll be ready.
I don't know, man.
180 pounds.
So here, I'm on UFC.com right now, and it says Makhachev is 155, Volk is 144 and a half.
Now, that's his typical fighting weight. They said he was at like 180 when he got the call.
180,
All right,
but
well,
he's
cool.
usually under though because he doesn't fight. He doesn't fight down. He fights up.
Tyler, because he wasn't in a camp. I don't think he was in a camp. He was
My money's on Volk, dude.
That's my concern. I'm just saying.
Let him, let him be heavier.
I'm putting the money on Volk too, so I'm with you. Don't worry.
All right. Any other things, guys?
No, I appreciate you guys having me tonight, sitting in for you. Hope I represented him well.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming on here.
Absolutely.
A little short notice. No, Trey's in for a wedding. So,
all right.
get him back. But, yeah, appreciate you coming in, Dad. Trent, appreciate you.
Fine. Absolutely.
I appreciate everybody listening on this wonderful Friday morning. Enjoy. Peace.
All right. Love you.